Okay, and finally, here we are again. Let me show you the assignment first, and then I'll go back to the text again. Okay, here's your first real written assignment of the semester. Textual analysis. I call it 2A because it's Module 2, that's all. Due June 15th, which is a couple weeks. So go through that article, scientific papers. You can watch my video again if you'd like, if it helps. Read the empirical research article from Wikipedia. Yes, I know it's Wikipedia, but it's pretty good. And then go back and choose any of the scientific papers that are under Module 2 text, so we'll look at those in a second. And compose a textual analysis, at least 2 pages long. This should be pretty easy if you use enough information from your sources. Here's what I'd like you to write about. How does the introduction section of the paper give the background of the topic? Remember, they think they called it context in the other paper, the other article. State the need for this particular study. What did the authors feel was missing? Why would they even do it in the first place? Then, is there a hypothesis? If there is, what is it? There may not be. There is not always a hypothesis. Sometimes it's just what they call an exploratory study, just to do the study and see what happens. Materials and methods. They all have a materials and methods section. What's in there? What did they do? How did they conduct their study? Then point out some of the empirical evidence. Yes, you'll have to slog through the middle and pick some of this stuff out. It's not all numbers. Some of it is written fairly clearly, but give it your best shot. Then do they point out any limitations? It's one thing we haven't talked about yet. All studies have limitations. You can't study everything. Then in the conclusion, how do they talk about the importance of their study, and then how do they end? What do they suggest for the future? And as I said before, not all the sections of these papers are labeled the same way. You might not have one called discussion. It might be called something else. But they're all in there. All the sections are actually exist, but the titles just might be a little bit different. And then to figure out how to format this and turn it in, go back to the assignments and grading file, which is over here alongside the syllabus. Basically, just save it as a Word file or a rich text format and attach it to an email. Please don't paste the body of this paper into an email. I have to be able to comment on it and send it back. Okay. Go back to the texts. Here's what you get to choose from. Pick one. Don't be intimidated. Pick one. Swimming with whales. This one's kind of cool. You know, swimming with whales and dolphins is now a big deal. In the tourist industry, if you've ever been to Florida, you may have done this. I know SeaWorld has something on this. People don't usually think about how the animals feel about this and what it does to them. Music therapy on depression compared with psychotherapy. Okay, alternative ways of dealing with depression, which is something I have some experience with. Here's one. This person studied images in college economics textbooks to see how poverty was portrayed in the pictures, and she found that if it's fairly racially portrayed in a lot of economics textbooks. Interesting study. Non-fatal sports and recreational violent injuries among children and teenagers. I know my son Sam has had a few of these. If you may have had some in high school, or if you're a parent, you might have come across some of these injuries. Here's one about nursing. This is out of the UK. Here's one about incarceration. Dealing food. It's a terrible title. I don't know what it means. Female drug users' narratives about food in a prison place and implications for their health. What do students really know about criminal justice? And finally, Facebook. Facebook's emotional consequences, why Facebook causes a decrease in mood, and why people still use it. Okay, if you're on Facebook, and I'm going to bet you are, you might like that one. So that's it. And of course, there's a discussion board. Just one. Talk to other students about which paper you chose. And just tell them what you learned, and be sure to respond to what other people have said. And then feel free to contribute to the blog. Let's see. There's some stuff up here. Oh, kittens. I mentioned the kittens. Show you. And that is a perfect ending to this video. Just take a look at those cute little kittens, and we'll call it a wrap. Okay, talk to you soon.